Hello, welcome back to We the People Politics. Today, we will be making a tier list ranking the potential running mates for Kamala Harris, assuming she wins the Democratic nomination. We will be ranking them based on what their likely effect will be on the election outcome and how much they will help or hurt the Harris campaign. With that said, let's get ranking. We will start with Mark Kelly, who has served as a senator from Arizona since 2020. He also previously served as an astronaut alongside his twin brother Scott. He is also a fairly charismatic speaker, so given that, his career, and the fact that he can help Harris in an important swing state that she will likely have trouble in, I think we will say that he helps a lot. Next, we will move to Alexandria Ocasio Cortez, often called AOC, who is currently serving as a U.S. representative from New York's 14th Congressional District since 2019. I think she would bring a lot of energy to the ticket and would convince the more radical left wing voters to go out and vote. However, she would likely turn off more moderate Democrats, especially white working class men who aren't enthusiastic about two women leading the country, so we'll say that she slightly hurts the ticket. Next up is Wisconsin Senator Tammy Baldwin, who has served in that position since 2013 and previously served as a state senator in Wisconsin. While she isn't particularly charismatic and suffers from the same problem as AOC, she does come from the swing state of Wisconsin, which, although it isn't the most critical state in Harris's path to victory, it could possibly prove to be pivotal. So we will say that overall, she doesn't hurt. We next move on to Senator Michael Bennet from the state of Colorado, who has represented that state since 2009 and served as the chair of the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee from 2013 to 2015. He also ran for the 2020 Democratic nomination for president before dropping out after New Hampshire. He doesn't bring very much to the ticket as he isn't very charismatic and wouldn't help Harris in any swing states. On top of that, he would likely hurt Harris among the populist far left, so we will say that he hurts the ticket. Next, we move on to the very popular senator from Vermont, Bernie Sanders. He has served in that position since 2007 and has chaired several committees throughout his tenure. He also ran for the Democratic nomination for president in 2020 and 2016, taking second place in both contests. He would likely guarantee Kamala's victory among young voters, which appears to be an increasingly competitive voting bloc. He would also increase voter turnout among populist progressives, so although I think it's unlikely that he would be the pick, we will say that he helps a lot. Next up is the former senator from Alabama, Doug Jones, who served a half term from 2018 to 2021 after barely winning a special election. Despite winning that election in the deep Republican stronghold, he went on to lose re-election by over 20% in 2020 to current Senator Tommy Tuberville. He is fairly charismatic, and I think that his appeal to Southerners could help Harris in Georgia, which I believe has become a much more important state since she became the presumptive nominee. So we will say that he helps the ticket. Next, we will move to former Ohio Representative Tim Ryan, who represented Ohio's 17th Congressional District from 2003 to 2013 and its 13th Congressional District from 2013 to 2023. He ran for the Senate in 2022, but ultimately lost to J.D. Vance, who he would have to debate this election cycle. And I think he would struggle there as he isn't as charismatic as Vance, and I would argue lost their Senate debates. Given that and the fact that he wouldn't enthuse the Democratic base, we will say that he hurts the ticket. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro was elected to that position in 2023 by 15% and has been one of the most popular governors in the nation. As Harris's running mate, he would give her a very good shot at winning Pennsylvania, which is a must-win state for the Democrats. Given that and his charisma and popularity, I believe that he is ultimately the best choice for the VP nominee. Next up is Maryland Governor Wes Moore, who has served in that position since 2023. He is fairly charismatic, but he doesn't really add very much to the ticket, so we will say that he has little impact. The next candidate is Pete Buttigieg, who has been the Secretary of Transportation throughout the entire Biden administration and was previously the mayor of South Bend, Indiana. He also ran for the 2020 Democratic nomination for president and did very well, winning Iowa and tying for first in New Hampshire before surprisingly dropping out. Despite his great performance, however, I think that him being gay could hurt the ticket among Southern black voters who tend to be more socially conservative, and his record as transportation secretary could be easily attacked by Republicans, especially what happened in East Palestine, Ohio. Given all that, and the fact that both he and Harris have very close ties to Biden, I think he would actually hurt the ticket a lot. Next up is West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin, who has served in that position since 2010 and previously served as governor from 2005 to 2010. He has been notorious for being a centrist Democrat, although he is now independent, and had incredible power during the first 2 years of the Biden presidency. As Harris's running mate, he would definitely help her among moderates, centrists, and independents, which I think she will struggle with, and although he will almost certainly hurt her among the sort of super progressive base, I think he would overall help the ticket. Our next candidate is North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper, who has served in that position since 2017 and previously served as the Attorney General from 2001 to 2017. As the VP nominee, he would help Harris in North Carolina, which has, I would argue, become more important since before Biden dropped out. However, he isn't very charismatic, so we will say that he helps, but not by much. Up next is Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren, who has served in that position since 2013. She ran for the 2020 Democratic nomination, ultimately placing third in the delegate count, although she did lose in her home state. While she could increase turnout from the progressive base, she would likely drag the ticket down due to the controversy around her claims of Native American heritage and the fact that many men would not be willing to turn out for a two-woman ticket. So I think she would ultimately hurt the ticket. The next candidate is Andy Bashar, who has served as the governor of Kentucky since 2019 and was previously the Attorney General from 2016 to 2019. Although he isn't going to help Harris in any specific swing states, he is very charismatic and managed to defeat an incumbent Republican governor in Kentucky, of all places, so he will definitely help the ticket a lot. Up next is Illinois Senator Tammy Duckworth, who has served in that position since 2017. She served in the Army from 1992 to 2014, and in 2004, during the Iraq War, lost both legs and was severely wounded in her right arm. I think it is safe to say that this would be an incredible benefit to the Harris campaign. So despite not really diversifying the ticket or being from a swing state, I think that she would actually help a lot. The next candidate is Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, who has served in that position since 2019 and in 2008 was the national co-chairman of Hillary Clinton's campaign. He is not very charismatic and he is not very well known, and he has been one of the most unpopular governors in the country. I don't think he would add very much to the ticket, and he isn't from a swing state, so I think that he would ultimately hurt the ticket a lot. Up next is Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, who has been serving in that position since 2019 and is also currently serving as one of the vice chairs of the Democratic National Committee. As Harris's VP nominee, she would likely help in the state of Michigan, but she will also likely hurt her among men. So, given her, I would say, average charisma, we will say that she doesn't hurt. The next potential nominee is Beto O'Rourke, who was the U.S. Representative from Texas's 16th Congressional District from 2013 to 2019 and ran in both the 2018 Senate race and the 2022 governor's race, the first of which he did very well in. He also briefly ran in the 2020 Democratic presidential race, but dropped out before any of the primaries. He isn't from a battleground state, but he is fairly charismatic and could definitely help Harris with the youth vote, so I think that he would ultimately help the ticket. Next, we move to New Jersey Senator Cory Booker, who has served in that position since 2013 and ran for the 2020 Democratic nomination, although he didn't get very far. He is somewhat charismatic and could definitely help drive progressive turnout. However, his strong pro-Israel stance could hurt the Harris campaign even further among the Arab American voters in Michigan. And since he doesn't help in any swing states, we'll see that overall he just doesn't help. Our next candidate is California Governor Gavin Newsom, who has been in that position since 2019 and previously served as the lieutenant governor from 2011 to 2019. As the running mate, I don't think he would help Harris at all. In fact, given his record as governor of California, I think he is a very easy target to attack. He wasn't able to beat Ron DeSantis in their debate a couple months ago, and if he can't beat DeSantis, who is notorious for being uncharismatic, then I doubt he will beat JD Vance. Given all this and the fact that most Americans probably dislike the idea of two Californians running the White House, I think he will end up hurting a lot. Up next is Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar, who has served in that position since 2007 and ran for the 2020 Democratic nomination for president, despite only winning 7 delegates and dropping out before Super Tuesday. She wouldn't be able to help Harris among men, and she isn't exactly the most charismatic candidate, so she wouldn't add much to the ticket, so we'll say that she actually hurts it. Moving on to Colorado Governor Jared Polis, he has been that state's governor since 2019 and was previously the U.S. representative from Colorado's 2nd congressional district. He's very charismatic and is fairly popular among most people who know him. He will definitely appeal to moderates and left-leaning libertarians. However, him being gay would hurt the ticket among socially conservative Democrats, and him being Jewish would hurt him among the anti-Israel faction of the party. So overall, I think that he wouldn't hurt. Up next is Congressman Dean Phillips, who has been representing Minnesota's 3rd congressional district since 2019 and ran for the 2024 Democratic nomination for president, managing to win 4 delegates before dropping out. He would definitely help Harris in the Rust Belt and Midwest among white working class moderates, who she definitely needs to do well with in order to win. Given that and the fact that he is pretty charismatic, I think he would absolutely help Harris a lot. Finally, we have Adam Schiff, who has been the representative from 4 different California districts since 2001 and is currently running for the U.S. Senate. I don't think he would really add anything to the campaign and would actually have a negative impact as he isn't charismatic, doesn't have any real popularity, and like Harris, is from California, which isn't a good state to be from politically right now. So I think that he would ultimately hurt the ticket a lot. And with that, we can conclude this tier list with Josh Shapiro being the best option and Mark Kelly, Bernie Sanders, and Andy Bashar fighting for second. I personally think it will be Shapiro, with Mark Kelly being a close second. But what do you think? Feel free to comment your thoughts and opinions down below. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. With all of that said, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.